Hi guys, it's me again. So today has just been one of those days where everything's gone wrong. So last night and all day today we've had really bad gale force winds and my polytunnel has been absolutely wrecked. It was all the way in the top garden, and this morning at 5:45 it was outside my dad's patio doors. I anchored it down, I pegged it down, I bought an extra 20 pegs and pegged it down. I got slabs and put them on the frame and over the cover and everything, but the wind still got it. I came to edit this video that I'm going to do again now because it was so dark you just couldn't see me. So here I am recording it again, and hopefully this time it's a little bit brighter. This video is going to be about what seeds I'm growing this year. It might give you some ideas then of what you would like to plant. So these seeds that I'm going to grow this year, they are something that we eat. Every year I grow turnips and I hate them. My dad's not that fussed and neither is my little boy. But it's just something that grows really easy, and so I chuck them in. And this year I'm not doing that. I'm not growing anything that quirky or fantastic colour or anything. I'm just growing these seeds because we like to eat them. And that's taken me a few years to get right. So I've got my little list here. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. Yes, so you would have seen me planting these peas the other day. They've all gone. The greenhouses inside, they've all been trashed. So I'll have to start them again tomorrow. But never mind, it's early enough and I've got plenty of time. But they were just starting to shoot as well. Gutted. Anyway, yeah, so peas, Feltham first. And where's the other one? Kelvedon Wonder. Those are the two varieties of peas I'm doing. This one's a bit of a later one and a main crop one, whereas this you can start off early. Because this year I want to do a lot of successional growing, so they don't all come at once. And because I've got 2 allotments this year, I've got a lot more space to do that. A new one I'm trying as well is a Petit Pois. 520 seeds in this packet for 99p. And these are from Premier Seeds Direct. They do really great fab seeds and I always get really good germination. And I think they said the processing time for the order was like a week, but I got them within 3 days. It was brilliant. Peas, lots of peas. Another thing I like to grow is beans because we like to eat them. So I'm going to do a French climbing bean Cobra, and that's a green one. And the other ones I'm going to do, I don't have a name for these because I got them in a seed swap. I think they're a heritage seed and I managed to get 6 seeds. And since then I've just been growing them every year. They are a climbing French bean and they're purple. The seeds are like little brown seeds. They come really early and they crop really well. Get loads of beans. The only thing is when you cook them, they turn green. They don't stay that beautiful purple. This year I'm going to do a stringless runner bean called Polestar. Every year I grow beans for drying. So I don't pick the pods, I leave them on the plant until they dry out, and then I collect the beans and harvest the beans inside them. But I've got that many left over from last year, I'm not growing them this year. 2 varieties I do, they're both runner beans. So one's a Cassar, which is a small white butter bean, and the other one is a Gigante. Cassar one, they say you can eat fresh, but I don't find it that nice. So yeah, I'm just doing a runner bean this year for the pods and not drying the beans. I am doing 2 types of beans for drying, and one is a pea bean, which is the red and white like yin yang bean. They're absolutely gorgeous, I love them and they grow really well. The pea bean and what are these? Trail of Tears. that's also a climber bean. You can eat these as a French bean, but I don't. I just leave them to grow and dry and then pick them. The other bean I like to grow is edamame. Absolutely love edamame beans, and they're quite expensive to buy. Usually I save my own seed, but the mice got to them last year before I could. So this is why this year I've got a new one. This is called Summer Shell. You must cook these. You can't eat them raw, otherwise they'll upset your tummy. I let them grow, get green on the plant and pick them in their pod. You usually get about 2 or 3 beans per pod, and then I pick them like that and just freeze them, and then I boil them in their pods and then shell them. Lovely. They grow okay here. Next is tomatoes. Everybody's got to try and grow tomatoes, haven't they? They're just something amazing about growing tomatoes. The first year that I grew tomatoes, I grew about 30 plants, all different, well even more than that, and I did loads of varieties, and I had gorgeous big juicy tomatoes, and within 3 days the whole lot was wiped out by blight. That completely put me off for a good few years, and every year all I've grown is a yellow little pear shaped tomato called Yellow Delight. It was the seeds were given me as a trial to see if they were any good, and I really enjoyed them. They're gorgeous, so sweet, and I do get blight with them, but not till at least September, and I can even get blight in the plant for a couple of weeks before I see signs in the tomato. So it gives me plenty of time to harvest and everything. I'm also going to try a few different varieties. Very early red tomato from the Real Seed catalogue, it says here. Yeah, I don't know what these will taste like, but I'm going to have a go at them. I think this is like a salad tomato, not a cherry. I'm going to do Gardener's Delight, and I'm also going to do a pink cherry called Rosella, because these were free with my garden magazine, and this year I feel like I've got a bit more confidence to grow them. Now I know a bit more about growing tomatoes, and I've got a couple of tips on how to keep the blight off a bit longer, hopefully. And I've got my polytunnel this year, and I know it's trash, but once I fix it, I am going to grow a couple of tomato plants inside the polytunnel, and the rest of them will go to the allotment. Usually I grow tomatoes in tubs on the patio, which I might still have a couple, but the rest of them, they're all going to the allotment. Give tomatoes a try. Beautiful when they ripen and they've been in the sun all day, and you pick them and they're warm and amazing. Okay, next on my list is my squash and pumpkins. Everybody grows courgettes, I'm sure they do, and I grow them every year, but I like to grow the yellow variety because I think they just taste nicer and a bit sweeter than the green ones. Last year my plants did awful, they were terrible, so hopefully this year they do a bit better. I'm also going to try Petit pan, and again last year they did really rubbish, but I'm thinking so did my courgettes, so I'm not giving up on them yet. I'm going to give these a go, and my son thinks these are ace because they look like little yellow UFOs apparently, so that's quite fun. I also grow winter squash because we really enjoy them and they store really well. I've got some still in a box from last year. They don't need freezing or drying or anything. I just bring them in the house and put them in a box. As long as it's frost free and dry, they'll store for months. So this year I'm just going to do Hunter F1, which is a plain standard butternut squash. The other one I'm going to do is a Delicata Honeyboat, and I've got one here, and they're like long little fruits. This is ripe because it's been inside, so these dark orange stripes, usually green and yellow, and when you cut it and scoop the seeds out it looks like a little boat, and they're really sweet and gorgeous. And I harvested this in October and we're in March now and it's still great. And we grow pumpkins. My little boy loves growing pumpkins for Halloween. We don't tend to eat them, we just use them for Halloween. So those are my pumpkins and squashes. The next thing we love to grow are cucumbers. I grow a variety called Diva, and I usually do about 3 plants, and that lasts us, and sometimes we can't even keep up with how many this produces, but they produce a lot, and they're great small and they're great bigger as well. This year I'm going to try a new courgette called a Paris pickling cucumber. Again, this is from the real seeds, and as the name says, pickling cucumber, you can have them small and use like gherkins and pickle them, or you can get them a little bit bigger and use them like cucumbers. And this is not an F1 variety, so if I look after them I can save the seed. Those are my cucumbers, Diva and Paris pickling cucumber. Okay, so what we got next? Oh, beetroot. You either love this or hate this, but I really love these. My little boy's not so keen, and my dad loves these. I like pickling them, so pulling them from the ground, washing them and slicing them really thin. Don't cook them or boil them, you just slice them really thin and put them in a pickling solution for like 3 days and then eat them, and oh, they're gorgeous. But they're really good for pickling for long term as well. So I always do Boltardy, as the name says. They tend not to bolt and they're really good. But I've also got these this year as well, and I'm going to give them a go. And these are multicoloured ones. So there's like a white one, a yellow one, and like a white and pink one, which I've grown before, and they're so pretty. So hopefully these will grow. And I'll do a few successions of them. I'll start them off soon now. You can start them off in trays, and when I do that I'll do a video and go into more detail. Beetroot, love, and they're great for storing as well. You just have to pick them out of the ground and brush all the soil off them and put them in a box with some sand, and they can keep all winter. They're great. Okay, the next lot is my Brassicas. So I'm not doing the standard white cauliflower, I'm going to do a Romanesco cauliflower, which is a green spiky cauliflower that my little boy calls dinosaur egg. They're meant to be a bit quicker and a bit easier to grow than cauliflowers, and they're quite expensive, and it's something you don't often see in the shops, but when you do they are expensive for tiny little ones, so I think it'd be worth growing them. We absolutely love broccoli. And I've got a few different types of broccoli, but these ones are from the real seed, and they're a quick-headed broccoli, so they're not as big, but they don't take as long to grow, which I love. So I could get a couple of sowings of these in the year maybe, or even 3, see how they go. But yeah, broccoli or Calabrese. This year I grew purple sprouting broccoli, and I did it here in the garden, and I waited all year for it to come. It was almost a year. I planted the seeds last April, so 11 months and nothing. Beautiful plants, but no broccoli. And when I pulled them up they got club root, so it really put me off doing purple sprouting broccoli. The lot that I grew at the allotment, the crows and the pigeons have absolutely annihilated. I'm really cross with them at the moment. Anyway, but this year I'm going to do a green sprouting one. So I sow it now and then I can harvest it July to September. I'm going to do Chinese cabbage, because it's really, really nice. Love it in stir fries, freezes well, but it grows a lot quicker than normal cabbage and takes up a bit less space. So I'm going to try that this year. I usually grow black Tuscan kale. Beautiful, the long leaves, and it's a bit like a Savoy cabbage, but the leaves can be quite tough, and I grew some last year and we didn't really eat it, so I'm giving that a miss this year. I'm gonna try this red Russian kale. It's not as spiky as some, but it is like a frilly leaf. If you pick the leaves when they're young, they're really tender, so you can eat them in a salad, like a salad leaf. So it's kind of a dual purpose kale that you can eat raw and you can cook with it. So I'm going to give that a go. An absolute must, Swede. We love Swede, and I love doing carrot and Swede mash. And last year was the first time that I was really successful with them, and I got 12 massive Swede. I put some in the freezer chopped up, and I think we're on our last bag now, so they've lasted quite well. So hopefully again I'll aim for about 12 of these to keep us going. Now then, this is our absolute favourite brassica, and I'm going to grow loads of these because we absolutely love them, and it's called kohlrabi, and they're like round little green bulbs. You can get purple ones as well, but I think the green, or the white ones as they call them, just taste absolutely gorgeous. So start these off as spring sowing now, and then I'll do one late summer for autumn. They don't like it in the summer, they split, they get woody, they just don't like it. So by sowing these now, these will be ready before it gets too hot. So I've got two varieties here, which is the Delicacy White, and they're just your little gorgeous kohlrabi. And I also got these super giant kohlrabi as well. Don't know if you can see that if I'm too far away. Super giant kohlrabi. These are great for harvesting in the autumn. They'll just keep, like the squash, if you have them in a box somewhere nice and dry and frost free, they will store for ages, and they're absolutely gorgeous. They taste and the texture is a bit like a sweet broccoli stem. I also love grating it raw and putting it in coleslaw instead of cabbage. Absolutely love them. Lots and lots of kohlrabi. Next is leeks, and I have Musselburgh and a below zero F1 hybrid. Leeks are great for like a second crop in a bed. So what I do is, after my broad beans are finished, which is usually about May, June, I start these off at home to give them a bit of a head start, and then when I pull the broad beans out, I plant the leeks in afterwards, so that piece of ground has had two crops in it. So I'm going to try something different with these this year, and I'm going to sow 3 or 4 seeds in each little cell, and I'm going to plant them out like that. Usually what I do is I plant about 50 seeds in a tub, and then I plant the leeks individually. So I'll get maybe twice, 3 times as many leeks, but in the same amount of space. Okay, so next I've got carrots. Now I've got clay soil, and carrots hate clay soil, but what I do is I dig a trench and I fill it full of compost and sand, and I sieve it so it's nice and clump free, stone free, and I've had really nice long straight carrots doing it like that. I am going to do Autumn King, which I can leave in the ground till about November, and I'm also going to do Chantenay carrot this year, which is a shorter, fatter carrot, better for my clay soil. Give that a go. I've also got some hybrid Morecambe carrot from Thompson & Morgan, and I'm going to do them in a trough in the garden here. And last but not least is sweet corn. Absolutely love sweet corn. Grow loads and loads and loads of it, and it freezes really well. So I'll be planting about 100 plants, and these are sweet corn early bird. One tip: stick to one variety of sweet corn, because one year I planted 2 different varieties together. They cross-pollinate really easily, and they cross-pollinated and they weren't sweet. They were horrible, and it was just a waste, and I was gutted. Just stick to one variety. The next thing on my list was onions and shallots, and what I did after making the first video, I went and I planted some of the onions in little cells ready, and I put the other onions in the polytunnel after checking them they weren't mouldy and everything. And of course they've all been ruined, they've all been wrecked. Hoping I'll be able to save a few. They're in the garage at the moment drying, but I am growing white onions, red onions, pink onions, and some shallots. I usually start my onions in winter, but they never do very well. Again, maybe it's because of my clay soil, I don't know. Right then, these are my seed potatoes. These are not varieties. I usually grow, either people were super organised, I don't know this year, but when I tried to order them, they were all out of stock, my usual ones. These ones are what were left, and because I've got the second plot now, this year I'm going to do more potatoes. So my first early potatoes are Rocket. My main crop potatoes are King Edward. And I've got a salad potato, which is Nicola. The first year I grew potatoes, I had a really good crop. Every year since then they haven't been that great. So this year what I'm going to do is grow them a bit later, because that's what I did the first year. I don't think I put them in till the middle of April. And I just think with my clay soil it takes that little bit longer to warm up. Even though it's warm, it takes a little bit longer to warm up. First earlies, they take about 12 weeks from when you plant them. Then the salad potatoes take about 16 weeks. And then the main crop take from anywhere from 20 to 22 weeks. By planting them a few weeks apart, it makes the season a little bit longer, and by the time you've run out of one potato, the next lot are ready. That's the plan anyway. They're just chitting away in this box. Now then, there are a few other bits and bobs that I'm going to grow, and if I've got little gaps anywhere, I'll plug them with stuff. So there's the salady bits that I like to grow. So the radish, I like to grow in a tub, because when I put them in the ground the slugs eat them and they don't do that well. Spring onions, absolutely love spring onions. So this year with these I'm going to plant 7 or 8 in one little cell and plant them out as a little bunch, you know, so I can pull up a whole bunch. And these are called Ishikura, and I've got a Paris silver skin. These are really good for making little pickled onions with, so looking forward to trying them. Never tried to grow them before. And I've also got a radish which is black Spanish round, but that's more of a winter radish. Never tried that before, so that's something to look forward to. So there's 2 seeds that I haven't got here because I've already sown them. One is celery and one is celeriac, and I grow them every year and I love them. And so this is a herb called cutting celery. So it is celery, but it's just the leaves and not the stems, and it's cut and come again. You just use the take leaves. One thing I've been told to do with this, so if you pick the leaves and dry them and you add them to rock salt, and you can make like a celery salt, and then that's a good way of preserving it as well and using it all year round. I've got Welsh onions, so these are perennial onions, and I've tried to grow these but never had any success, so maybe this year is the year. You can use the green stalks as chives, just cut them, or you can cut them a bit further down and use them as a spring onion, but always leave some in there so they can keep on growing. Now this one is Nigella, which I know it as love in a mist. I don't know if this is a special Nigella that you grow, but you grow this one for the seeds, and it's also known as black caraway seed. I like growing flowers that are pretty but have 2 uses, so you can have them for a flower to look pretty, and then the seeds you can use in cooking. Poppies, I use the seeds in bread. My calendula you can use for tea. You'll see in my tea video that you can dry the petals to use in tea, but I also use it in beauty product. I love flowers like that have like a dual purpose, and they make my garden and a lot look pretty. So I hope this video has given you some ideas of what maybe you could try to grow. Write down things that you like to eat. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.